Now I'm just going to come right out and say it. Oculus is one of my favorite horror movies from the last couple of years. Oculus is a 2014 horror movie that was co-written, directed, and edited by Mike Flanagan. It stars Karen Gillan, Brenton Thwaites, Katie Sackhoff, and Rory Cochrane. Oculus is a haunted object horror movie, in this case an evil mirror. It tells two different stories dealing with the same people and this mirror that are edited together brilliantly, in my opinion. The first storyline is the children, Kaylee and Tim, experiencing what happens to their parents after their father buys the laser glass. The laser glass is the mirror in this movie, the central evil mirror. Now, without giving away anything that the trailers don't, bad things happen in the first plot line, and it leads to the death of the parents. The second timeline, it tells the story of Kaylee and Tim as young adults. It's set 11 years after the first timeline. Karen Gillan's character sets up a room where she has cameras, multiple cameras, that are all filming the mirror and the room where the mirror is in. She has all kinds of fail-safes, alarms to remind them to drink, and alarms to remind them to eat, and alarms to reset the fail-safe mechanism, which is a giant weight that without their intervention will smash the mirror. All of these precautions are taken based on her research as to how the mirror has killed the people that have owned it. There's a good 30-minute period of the movie where you really aren't sure if she's just crazy. You really don't know if there's something more going on. I've decided to separate out some of my thoughts on this movie into a separate video. The other video, which will be linked right here, will explore why I really like this movie and the kinds of narrative things that this movie does that make it stand out. I understand that that kind of discussion isn't for everybody. If you're interested, click, find out my thoughts on why this movie is so effective. Child performances are very hit or miss in movies. The kids in this movie do a phenomenal job. I cannot say enough good things about this. This movie is tremendously well acted. I really don't have many negative things to say about Oculus. I mentioned in my review of The Lazarus Effect that this movie is beautifully shot, and it is. It's very crisp, very clean. Now, what Flanagan does in the editing room is not something that I've ever seen done before. Not quite like this. He merges those two timelines, those two stories. This movie plays with subjectivity. When the characters are remembering things that happened in the past, it switches to those things happening in the past. This is not your typical horror movie. They do a pretty good job of explaining why these people are attempting to do what they're doing. They're not deterred by strange things that are happening because that's what's expected. When things start getting out of hand, these characters try to leave. They don't blindly force themselves forward in a situation where you're going, why would you do this? They try to leave. They can't, but they try. One of the things that I enjoy about this movie, some people may not like, the laser glass is never fully explained. For the purposes of this movie, it came in as this mirror, it ends as this mirror. It is a fixed object with superb acting, great directing, great writing, fantastic editing. Oculus is absolutely one of my favorite horror movies, particularly in the last couple of years. Have any of you guys seen Oculus? Let me know what you think in the comments below. As I mentioned before, I've separated out a second video. I'll put a link to that here as well. Feel free to check that out if you're interested in hearing why I feel this movie is more effective than most. Aside from that, like if you like, comment if you have something to say, and subscribe if you want to see all of my videos.